Okay, let me just state this before we get into the video. If Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't get some form of a Game of the Year award, then I don't know what's going on with gaming. So we've just seen the latest of the gameplay for Cyberpunk 2077, which, by the way, if you didn't know, is set to release on the 16th of April 2020. And I was going to do a reaction to the gameplay, although there wasn't that much. There wasn't as much as I thought there was going to be. And not only that, there was a lot of music. I don't want to take the risk of copyright, so what I've done is I'm going to go through everything from the developer interview afterwards. So this is like pretty much every note they went through. I've taken notes myself, and I'm going to be explaining things as best as I possibly can. So to start off, Night City, that's where the game's based. There are 6 different districts that are going to be completely different to each other, so you'll always know where you are in the game world, but it's done without being unrealistic, so there's not huge differences. And when I say that, I mean basically you'll go from Pacifica into another district and it will have the same sort of setting, but it won't be the same district. You'll know when you're traveling from district to district, although it's not unrealistic in terms of you're not going to have like a jungle district and then you're going to have a street district and then you're going to have, I don't know, like a space district and things like that. They're trying to keep as much realism in the game as possible, trying to make it so that the game and its setting isn't unbelievable. Each district has a dominant gang. For example, Pacifica, that is run by a gang called the Voodoo Boys. They've developed the entire game to be suitable for players with any playstyle, so it's extremely complex within their coding, programming, stuff like that. The story and the gameplay will change depending how you play, and every different action has consequences that come along with it. There are lots of different vehicles, and we will only be limited based on what we can afford. There's things like bikes, cars, and there's even surprise vehicles in there. Vehicle renaming is included too, so we can name our vehicles whatever we want. And then there are parts of the story where we'll be able to like gain access to flying cars for maybe a cutscene or something. I don't think we're actually allowed to drive flying cars or flying cars. There are no loading screens at all whilst you're exploring the city, and they recommend vehicles because the city is so big. Fast travel is also going to be included in the game, although I think this game is so big, like for the first playthrough, the first few hours of traveling to different districts and things, I don't think fast travel is going to be recommended. Although if you've played the game a lot, you've explored absolutely everything, then if you can't be bothered to drive or run around, then you can fast travel to a different area. NPCs can give you side missions as a street story kind of thing, which is tied to each district. They will also have meaning to them and give us even more to do besides the main story. And when I say they're tied to each district, I mean like if you're in Pacifica and you get given a side mission, it will be related to things regarding Pacifica. There are going to be 3 different life paths in the game that will completely change the beginning of the story, and they'll develop all the way through the game. Each path will have different benefits and stuff, and you can switch it up, but it can also come with consequences as always. There are different perks, skills and attributes that will evolve your character. This is something I think is really, really cool. An example is you can get the ability to pick up dead bodies and move them, so you can essentially hide them. Then you can go and upgrade that perk, so there's a lot of depth to it. So you can do things like you can run with the bodies so you can hide them faster. If you're going for like a strong solo build or something like that. You can switch out cyberware and stuff from the inventory screen, so you can like equip or switch different body parts that might give you things like silent jumping or double jump. You can basically change and apply cyberware to your character from the inventory screen. Cyberware can be obtained by going to a doctor. You can increase your street cred and stuff like that to unlock new vendors. The Nanowire, this one's quite cool as well. It can be used to do hacking for some fun head explosions and things like that. And it can also be used as a weapon. Your Nanowire is going to be incredibly helpful in a lot of different situations. I think most of us know this one by now, but the game can be played in a lethal or a non-lethal way. You can go through the entire game and you can play it without killing a single person, but there will still be trouble, even if you're playing non-lethal, so you might have to throw a couple of knockout punches here and there. Builds go into a hell of a lot of depth. You get strong solo, net runner, fast solo, and pretty much any hybrid you want. You can build around whatever you want to. Solo is for like agility or strength. Netrunner is the hacking archetype. And Techie, which is the third and final archetype, like the foundation of your build, is going to be the one that messes with hardware, drives, machinery, things like that. We will have a choice to have a buddy robot called Flathead, if we choose to, that can tweak things to make something fall onto enemies. Like, for an example, I don't know if this is something that can actually be done in the game, but to kind of put it into perspective, you could find a sign that weighs quite a lot and it's being held up to show you where something is in the city. This spider-looking drone can go along and, like, loosen one of the screws or something so that falls onto an enemy's head. There's a lot of different depth with the weapons as well. You get nanowire, turrets, smart guns, like the film Wanted, where you can curve bullets around walls and objects. There are power weapons, which are street weapons like burst shotguns and things like that. There is a pistol that fires bullets quicker the more you hold the trigger. So you could start with a mag of 20 rounds in your pistol and start off with a 200 rounds per minute, and then by the end of that mag it could be up to 500 or 600. Like, that's just a little bit of depth, an explanation into what I'm thinking from what we've been told. Some of the weapons are going to have alt-fire modes, but not every single weapon in the game. You're going to have things like ricochet, so you can actually bounce bullets off walls. You're going to have cover penetration. There's also an 8-barrel shotgun and other crazy things like that. They mentioned the ability to pick up like random glass bottles and things like that off the ground to use as a melee weapon. And you can specialise in melee with katanas and the like. So if you wanted to, I don't know, say you're walking around the street and you see a glass bottle, you can pick it up, smash it, use it as a melee weapon. Cyberdeck Cyberware is going to let you manipulate or hack things like the bench press we saw in the gameplay and also the training robot we've already seen. It's also possible to hack other people's cyberware so that it does things the people don't want, like pulling the pin on a grenade so that they essentially explode themselves and anyone or anything in the immediate surrounding, like the radius of the grenade they have. Each playthrough is going to be extremely unique and every option is down to us. They've given us as much freedom as they possibly can. They've just chucked all the tools into the game that we might want to use. Weapons are going to have different skins, they'll have different attachments, and you can boost their stats and things. And also, the final thing to note is the better you get with a gun, so the more you use it, the better, like the increased accuracy you have over time. That sort of thing will influence the animations, like you'll get smaller crosshairs to let you know you have increased accuracy when you're used to controlling the recoil. And you'll get like reload speed bonuses and stuff depending on your experience with each of the weapons. So when you pick up a weapon, if you enjoy it, that will become basically your specialist weapon. If you use that weapon again, you're going to have a lot of benefits to using it. So there's an incredible amount of depth into this game, as I said at the very start of the video. If this doesn't receive a lot of awards throughout 2020, there is something wrong with the award choices. Unless something else creeps up, I really don't think anything is going to match this game. The more I see, the more I can't wait to get my hands on it. We still have a very long time until we can actually play. But that's going to do it for this video. If I see any more news about the game, gameplay, features, stuff like that, I'll be sure to cover it. Let me know your thoughts and stuff and your opinions in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.